What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Uncle Fred back in the house. One more again with my weekly cowboy report. Go ahead and hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Man, holy, it's funny, man. Become a part of the Uncle Fred experience. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Go ahead and hit that notification buzzer as well, and you'll be in the loop when your boy drop videos. It's about three, 4 a week. I'm kind of on that kind of tilt right about now. So all things as Cowboys. Let's talk about the Cowboys. First of all, we had a game on Saturday, which is the season finale. And I'm gonna talk about that, and I'm gonna talk about narratives. And I got a thing about narratives. Let me get this out of my ear so I can, kind of distracting me while I can't. Narratives. It's like an idea or a belief or of something, and you have to like come up with other supporting data to kind of fit that, and then you just roll with it, and then people just accept it without investigating, and it becomes law or it becomes the thing. There's a couple narratives that I want folks to understand as we get into this. So first of all, first narrative. Well, Cowboys, and we saw the score, and I watched the game Saturday night. Cowboys won 51-26. Okay, and of course, the narrative is, or the propaganda, if you will, is that, man, well, the Cowboys, well, of course they did. I'm going to attack two narratives here. Well, of course they did. They beat up on a weak team. It's like they beat up on the rest of the weak NFC East. Okay? Two narratives in there, two misnomers in that statement. I'm thinking to dissect them both. First thing, Cowboys beat up on a team. They were playing with practice squad players. Yeah, that might be true. But did you also know the Cowboys were also playing without 7 starters? See, they don't tell you that. Okay? They don't tell you that. All right? We're playing without, and I'm going to name them. Playing without Tyron Smith, all-pro left guard. Okay? He was out with an ankle. Playing without Tony Pollard. I know Zeke's technically the starter, but there's some starting running back that Tony Pollard got more carries than. Okay? So I'm gonna count Tony Pollard as a starter, even though he's dude got 800 yards. He has more yards than Elijah Mitchell, who we're playing Saturday. He has more yards than him. Okay, so yeah, he's a starter. Playing without Michael Gallup, which we know we're gonna be without him for the rest of this year, and hell, part of next year, a good part of next year, because he's got an ACL and got it like last week. So I hate it for him, because that's too, if you want to have an injury like that, you want to have it early in the season, which, I mean, for his perspective, is good, because he has the rest of the season to heal and he'll be ready for the start of training camp. But when it happens at the end of the season, that means basically you're missing the rest of that season, and understanding he just got back from his calf injury. And then he's going to miss all of the next season up until probably like week 10 or week 11, so, and it's a contract year. So that's real bad for Michael Gallup. I hate that for him. Anyway, so we're out Michael Gallup. So these are on offense, okay? Go to the defense, okay? Without Micah Parsons, okay? We're without Trayvon Diggs, without Anthony Brown, and without Javon Curse, okay? So that's like what? I count 7 starters, okay? And I was arguing with one of my friends about that, and he's like, "Well, he may play with practice squad." I said, "Yeah, but but them practice are okay." But what people don't understand is that when you're missing a guy like Michael Parsons, okay, That's like missing like 2-3 players, because it's going to take 2-3 players to make up the production that he brings. Okay, him and Trayvon. That's like missing 5 players between the two of them. Because on linebacker, we playing with Luke Gifford, who hasn't started the game since he's been a Cowboy. You think he's going to have the nuances and the instincts that a Michael Parsons have? No. So basically, Luke Gifford is a practice squatter. And so they making it seem like, oh yeah, all the Cowboy starters playing against the all practice squad. That's the narrative that they put out there. But no, we're playing with like 7 missing starters. Okay. And then at the end of the game, we played with some practice squad. But I don't know who Ito is, and the other kid's name, Dowdy or something. Never heard of these dudes. So they prepped when that was the fourth quarter. But if you just believe the narratives, oh man, they just beating up on it. Yeah, and I'm telling you, just like this, if we played another team with playing the most of their starters and we went in there with missing 7 starters, we'd have got hammered. Okay. So technically, we're almost in the same boat. We're not almost at the same point, but still, it's, we kind of shorthanded too, And see, ours is because our guys are injured. They chose to do that. That's on them. All right. So yeah, I mean, now having said all that, there were some things that I didn't like about that game because they playing practice squad. I think Kelsey played like a couple of plays. They did play with Devontae Smith and Jalen Rager. They did play with them. And I think Kelsey and Lane Johnson played like a few plays and whatnot. Then they came out and they put in the backups or whatever. So, Jalen didn't play. They played with Gardner Minshew, who's a starter. Started the whole season last year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He is a starter. Okay. So it's not like, he's started like 15, 16 games last year. He's a starter. Took the job from Nick Foles. Okay. It ain't like he's chopped liver. Okay. But no, some things I didn't like. I didn't like how the Eagles was able to run on us, with backups. Now, they were playing with Gainwell and some dude named Hundley, because now, Jordan Howard and Boston Scott, them guys didn't play. And of course, Jalen Hurts didn't play. That's pretty much most of and Miles Sanders, none of them guys played. And they still, with them backups, ran for 149 yards on us. Okay. So, that's stuff. We got to look at that kind of stuff. And then on defense, when we're on offense, they're playing backups on defense. And there was a series in there where we was on offense, and one of their rookie, left defensive ends threw Lyle Collins to the floor. I'm like, Lyle, really? Lyle's I'm gonna be honest, Lyle's kind of been a disappointment, since he's been back. He's not been as good as he was. I've seen him get beat. I've seen him, hold. I've seen him miss guys. They come blitzing, he'll pick the wrong guy and get that hit. He's not been good at right tackle since he's been back. He's been, And Tyron Smith come back, his butt out of there and put Terrence Steele back over there for my money. I ain't got a whole lot for Lyle Collins. I just don't. He just not my cup of tea. So, but anyway, the thing of the day, this dude right here. See this right here? Rain Dakota Prescott, 21 of 27, 295, and not 1, not 2, sound like LeBron, not 3, not 4, but 5 touchdown passes. Never had a 5 touchdown game before in his career. Had a 5 touchdown, no interception game. Like I said, I know he's playing with, guys that, because a couple of them touchdowns, I'm like, dang, nobody covered that. The 5th touchdown, he threw it to Corey Clement. On the little halfback, he was wide open. He looked in the middle, flipped it out to the flat. There was nobody over there. He walked into the end zone. I'm like, wow. basically they playing with backups. So that I understand we was able to run the score up and get some stats. So that pushes Dak to 37 touchdown passes, which is a Cowboy record, and earned Dak Prescott NFL Offensive Player of the Week. Third time he's won that this year. All right. So yeah, I give Dak a lot of grief when he's not doing well, when he's in a slump. And I wish he would say, look, man, I ain't playing well, but he won't own it. But that's fine. That, people handle things the way they handle them. But when he play well, I give him his flowers. He played like a champion Saturday, and I give him his flowers. 4,449 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 68% completion percentage. All right, he's my MVP for the year, for the Cowboys, not for the season, for the league. I'm going with Aaron Rodgers for that. But, for the Cowboys, I'm going with my boy Dak. So they rolled up 475 yards of offense and 23 first downs and went 8 or 10 on third down. Like they punted like once or something of that nature. So they just basically had their way. In the fourth quarter, they left and brought in some guys. Like I said, I ain't never heard of I ain't never heard of Edo Smith and those Hardy. Hardy, that's the one. He had a touchdown late. Hardy. That's the guy's name. Edo Smith and that is Jordan Hardy. Jordan Hardy is daggum cursor on Jaquan Hardy. So sorry. Jaquan Hardy. That's who that guy is. He ended up with a touchdown late in the fourth quarter, and they just blew it wide open, man. So even with Cooper Rush in there, so blew it wide open, 51-26. Our second 50-burger of the year, and second in 3 days, in 3 games. So we was able to do that. So that gets us, and I think that win does a couple things, gets our confidence up, gets our momentum up. We was able to let Zeke had like 15 carries for 87 yards, pushed him over the 1,000-yard mark. Now, a lot of people was doubting it. Another narrative, which I just thought about, man, Zeke's having this terrible year. Man, I wouldn't even be talking about on 1,000 yards. We got 17 games there. Yeah, but Zeke only had 237 carries this year. Okay. His least amount of carries since he's been a Cowboy. I think he had less carries than this, even in the year that he missed 6 games for suspension. Still averaged 4.2 yards a carry, so that's pretty good. With all them, bad games, them 6 yard, 15 yard, 19 yard, 10-yard games or whatever, still ended up with 1,000 yards, only on 237 carries. All right, so yeah, that's not bad because see, we're splitting carries. So when you splitting carries, that's pretty good. You got a 1,000-yard back and almost an 800-yard back. That's good eating right there. That's good eating. That's good eating right there. So that win gives us a little bit of confidence, and this kind of gives us some good feeling about the week. Now, I got some things. The other narrative. Here's the other narrative before I get too far off. The other narrative, just like I was saying, is about, man, they're feasting on, because the Cowboys went 6-0 in the NFC East. They're feasting on the weak NFC East. I'm like, weak NFC East? Have you seen the NFC North lately? Okay. Have you seen the NFC North? Because when I look at it, I look at Green Bay 13-4. I look at Minnesota 7-10. I look at Chicago 6-11, and I look at Detroit 3-13-1. Okay, so your boy went and looked at the divisions. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna just make up some crap. Your boy don't do that. So I'm like, let's just see how much narrative that is. Now I'll admit, Cowboys. Now, as bad as the Cowboy division supposedly is, we do got 2 playoff teams in it. Every division can't spout two playoff teams. Okay, I think ours got 2. NFC West got 3. Man, they just. That's the best division. They're 40-28. They got the best division, but they got 3 playoff teams. But we're playing one of them. So we're gonna get into that with San Fran, the Rams, and Arizona Cardinals. They got 3 playoff teams, so they can't hold a candle to them. And then the AFC West, with the Chiefs and the Raiders and the Chargers almost getting to it if they had not made my man kick that field goal. If they just let it alone, both of them had tied. They both would have got in there. They'd have had 3, but whatever. And then but as far as some of these other ones, and of course the AFC North, they didn't have any great teams, but the weakest team got 8 wins, which is Cleveland, and the top team got 10 wins. So from between 8 and 10 wins, you got all 4 teams. So that's why that's one of the better divisions too, because no great teams, but all the teams was kind of sandwiched in there together. But nobody's talking about the AFC South. With you got Tennessee, you got I think they were 12-5, just like Dallas, and then you got 9-8 with the Indianapolis Colts, who missed the playoffs, but that's their own doing. But then the rest of the division, you got Houston and Jacksonville, 4 wins and 3 wins. So that's the worst division. If you want to ask now, you want to talk about Tennessee beating up on the Little Sisters, talk about them. That's the worst division in football. And I was going to argue that the NFC South was just as bad, but they beat us by 2 games. Okay, but I will say we played that division this year, and our division killed that division. Cowboys went 3-1 against it. The only loss was to Tampa Bay. I think Washington beat every team in there because they beat Tampa. They beat Tampa. I know they beat Atlanta, and I know they beat Carolina. Okay, I know they beat those 3 teams. Not sure if they beat New Orleans. I got to go back and look and see if Washington beat New Orleans. I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and see. But I know they beat Tampa, they beat Carolina, and they beat Atlanta. I know that. And I know the Giants beat New Orleans, but I think they beat New Orleans and Atlanta. No, I think Atlanta did beat them. Okay. But I know they beat New Orleans. They beat New Orleans. I know they lost to Tampa, and the Giants. That the Giants are our Detroit. Okay, fired that coach. Joe Judge. They fired him like a couple of days late. And they talking about keeping him. Dude can't coach, man. Not good. Brian Flores getting fired. He need to get fired. All right. And so, but that's narrative. Really, we're like number 3. There's 8 divisions. We're like 4th, 5th. Right in the middle. But the narrative is the NFC least because we had a bad year last year because the Eagles were in quarterback quandary because Carson Wentz was leaking oil all over the field, and then they was trying to get Jalen Hurts ingratiated into the offense. And so they was kind of. Then you had Washington won the division. Of course, we had that go down, and the Giants are the Giants. Okay, this year everything kind of went back to their rightful place. If it wasn't for COVID, the Washington football team probably would have made the playoffs. Okay, because they were hit pretty hard with it. So they might have made the playoffs. Okay, might have beaten us one of those 2 games that they played us. If they weren't racked by COVID. So the NFC East is not as bad as the narratives that have been made. And just like I said, narrative is all this stuff is about narrative. They put something out there and then it just gets said, and then people just believe it without investigating it. But anyway, but here's some things I'm kind of upset about because a lot of people aren't taking these COVID protocols seriously. And I'm like, look, guys fool around and catch CV-19 and get out for the playoff game. You don't need to miss but 1, and you could be 1 and done. And see, I'm gonna be pissed off. And see, if I'm Jerry, and I usually don't roll with Jerry, but I'll be open to if somebody do that and do something reckless, I will be in favor of cutting them because it's just stupid. It's just stupid. And I guess it's a generational young people thing. They got this FOMO, you know what FOMO is, fear of missing out. I was young once upon a time. I know y'all think Uncle Fred been his age all his life, but I was young once, and you know, when we was growing up, you thought, you know, party. Yeah, why can't I go to this party? It's the greatest party of the year. Mom and Dad said, well, you ain't going out. There's gonna be other parties. No, it's not. It's got to be this one. And I'm like, and as you get older, you're like, yeah, there's gonna be other parties. Why can't I date her? This girl, there's gonna be other girls. No, it's not. It's gonna be other girls. You know, it's always gonna be another. Okay, always. But at the time, you young and immature, you think that's the last thing. Okay, these guys. Now, last week, you know, and I made something to do about it, but it wasn't that big a deal because I know where they was at, and I think they was in the box. But we saw at the national championship game in the semifinals that was at Jerry's World, is in you know, AT&T Stadium. You saw CeeDee Lamb and Trayvon Diggs. They was at the game. Okay, why was they at the game? Because they're University of Alabama alums, and in case y'all ain't know, you know, I'm a Roll Tider too. In addition to this, I rolls with both of them. Most of your Crimson Tide guys, when they graduate, they come back when the team is playing for championship. They're on the sidelines. They're doing all this stuff there, you know, because you know you can say it's a cult, but it is. That's what they do. But I was kind of like, okay, I'm glad you playing going when it's at your own stadium, and Jerry can put y'all up in one of the boxes, you know, because you know. But then later the next week, I seen Michael Parsons at the Mavericks Nuggets game, and lo and behold, the next day I found out he got COVID. He got CV-19. I told him we're not gonna say COVID, we're gonna say CV-19. Okay. He's CV-19, which meant he don't get to play in the season finale. Now we might have rested him anyway, but you know what? He was like 1 or 2 sacks away from getting the rookie record. You ain't a rookie but 1 year, Micah. You don't get the chance to go back next year and add to that. No, you had a chance to get a rookie record, and you chose to go to a game, you know, and 2 days later, at Dirk Nowitzki's, you know, ring ceremony where they putting his name up in the rafters at American Airlines Arena in Dallas, or whatever they call that arena now. And who do I see in the audience in general seating but Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb in the middle of all those folks with nobody's mask on. And I'm sitting there like, if these clowns fool around and get CV-19, I'm going to be mad. Because I'm sitting there like, you can go to these games. There's NBA games going on all the way up until April. But you got to go to Dirk's night because that's the place to be. Okay, you're in a playoff push. And I think Dak got on them guys like, dude, what are you guys doing? You know, y'all act like kids. We're trying to win a championship here. You guys up there lollygagging off in basketball games in 20,000 seat arena, and people in there like sardines. And Amari Cooper is not vaccinated, so you know he's gonna get fined for that. It's just silly stuff. FOMO, fear of missing out. Dude, there's gonna be basketball games later. You can go to them after the season's over. You have to go to that one. Why would you risk that? That's what I'm not getting. Why would you risk that? I know these young people, you live out life. Yeah, but you don't want your life to end tomorrow trying to live. Plan to live a long time, you know? Life ain't gonna end tomorrow. So I'm not jumping out no airplanes. So you know, I don't get it. Maybe I'm an old whatever, and I don't get that because I know there is a tomorrow. Well, until there's not one. But dude, if you ain't in this thing to win championships and you risking championships to go off on some frivolous game, dude, I don't know if I need you on my team. That's why Dak had to get in AAS. Like, guys, get y'all together. We're trying to win here. That's why you don't hear Dak and none of those protocols. You know why? Dak go to practice. Dak go home. You do that stuff later. You know, that stuff after the season. And the thing I don't get is what's the big deal? You play football from September or August, September to January. Why don't you just go all in and commit? That's why I don't understand why they don't go and get in there in the Omni. The Cowboys have a facility where all the players can go to and be there for the whole playoffs. We're just going to bunker in. You got for 3 weeks. Families and all, coach and all, we don't go. Nobody, we stay contained in this thing the whole time we're in the playoffs. That way, nobody's got any chance of getting outside and let's get this thing done. No, I got to go to these parties. I got to go to the games. I got to be in these things. FOMO, fear of missing out. But your season is from September to January. You can do whatever you want the rest of the freaking season. You know, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But that's my rant on that. But yeah, man, actually the NFC East is 32-36. I did my math today. All the teams play 68 divisional games. Okay, 68 divisional games within each division. Got 4 games, about 4 teams. And so the NFC East is 32-36, which is 4 games under 500. You know, you give the Giants the credit for that because they, whatever. But then, the NFC North was 30-37-1. So there were 7 games under 500. And then the AFC South was 28-40. Okay, 28-40. Worst division in and then the next 2 are tied, which is the AFC East was 34-34. They broke even, and the NFC South was 34-34. Those 2 tied for the next above right above us. But I think our division is just as good as either of those. But like I said, that's just narrative. But anyway, on the injury front, good news is Micah Parsons is back and he's back practicing. He's out of CV-19 protocols. So is Tank Lawrence, which I didn't even realize he was, and he was at practice. Some other good news as far as the Cowboys are concerned. Tony Pollard, full practice. Zeke Elliott, not on the injury report at all. Usually he's limited or DNP, did not practice. And he was not on the injury report at all. Okay. Trayvon Diggs, he was ill. It's not said he had, CV, but he was ill, and that's why he missed. And Anthony Brown is back, and Keanu Neal is back but limited. Tyron Smith, who missed Saturday's game because of the ankle, and just go ahead and get him ready for the playoffs. He was limited, but he's going to be a go. And Blake Jarwin and all those guys will go. So according to Mike McCarthy, we're as healthy as we can pretty much be right now. So that's good. That's good right now. So we're good. So other Cowboy news that I'm gonna get to is that some of the distractions that other than the CV and going into the games is, of course, we know after Black Monday, a lot of coaches was let go. Mike Zimmer was let go at Minnesota, which I told you. When you see them, talking about their players like that, I need to see him for. I see him every day. I'm like, really? Why would you say that, man? It's just mean spirited. Why would you do that, man? I just don't get that. So yeah, he's out. And I like Mike Zimmer, but dude, I guess when he knew handwritings on the wall, that team underachieved. I've been pumping them all season, but they never lived up to their expectations. And so he got fired. Matt Nagy finally got fired, and they've been calling for him to be fired. They want him to be fired at midseason, but the Bears don't do that. They never fire nobody in season. They always, the McCaskies don't do that. So Matt Nagy got fired. Then the surprise is Brian Flores after the Dolphins go 8-1 in the last 9 games of the season. But apparently there was some infighting between him and Chris Greer, which is the GM. And, some stuff between him and he wasn't getting along with Tua and whatever was going on with that. But anyway, I brought that in to say this. Since you got all these openings, of course, and Vic Fangio, the architect of the Cowboy stoppers. Remember, I got the architect. I got the blueprint. You know how to beat the Cowboys. Going to the press conference. How about them Cowboys? Yeah, your butt on the unemployment line now. Now, how you like that? And Joe Judge. So there's a lot. So there's a lot of, and we know about Urban Meyer got fired. And I've heard David Culley's on which I thought the Houston Texans played pretty well this year. They beat Tennessee. They beat Los Angeles Chargers. They beat some teams this year. beat Jacksonville twice. And they played some other teams close. This season. So, I thought with limited amount of talent, I thought they did well. But the reason I mention that is because the buzzards are circling around our team trying to get our coordinators, man. They wanted Jacksonville wanted Quinn, but Quinn's like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. There's better fish to fry. So now they're talking to Kellen Moore, and then of course. I'm just going to tell you like this. Kellen Moore got to show me some more before I'd offer him a head coaching job. That's just me. That's just me. I like Kellen Moore. I love his rapport with Dak, but I think Dak helped him as much as he helped Dak. So, you go into a quarterback that's got 1 year of and didn't play well. I think Trevor Lawrence got like 13 touchdown passes, 12 touchdown passes all season, and about like 20 interceptions. 19, 18, 19, 20 interceptions somewhere in there. I don't have stats right in front of me. But anyway, and it was told that Dan Quinn's actually helping Kellen Moore with his presentation because apparently Kellen Moore, and I heard this on a telecast, really is not don't really present himself well, doesn't really command a room well or whatever. And Dan Quinn's trying to help him with that, but, whatever, we'll see. And I think Dan Quinn has had some interview with the Chicago Bears. I think it's all Zoom. Everything's Zoom now. Nobody's flying to Chicago. And I heard about Denver. I heard Denver is really, looking at Dan Quinn. So there is a good chance that we may lose Dan Quinn this year. But I have heard through the grapevine. I ain't got these ears for nothing. I've been hearing that if he do go, they're going to promote Joe Vitt, who's like the defensive line coach or whatever, or they may go Dan Quinn. I mean, not Dan Quinn. They may go Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer used to be our defensive coordinators back in like 2008, 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. He was our defensive coordinator back in that era. And I've also heard about God, there was another one. There was another defensive coordinator I was hearing about that they may get if Dan Quinn was to leave. But yeah, Mike Zimmer would be on the on that list, short list to replace Dan Quinn. Mike Zimmer is familiar with the workings of the Cowboys. And that sort of thing, because he left the Cowboys defense to go coach, be the defensive coordinator at Cincinnati, and he left there to be the head coach at Minnesota. So, but yeah, Dan Quinn. I mean, Mike Zimmer and Vic Fangio. They said Vic Fangio might be one they might look at. As being the next D coordinator if he was lead. But the big thing I want y'all to pay attention to, and this would be big. This would be big, and I'm hoping and praying this don't happen. But there's been some rumors that Will McClay might be leaving. Now, many of y'all may not know who Will McClay is. Will McClay is a African American gentleman. He's actually, to be technical, Will McClay is really the GM of the Cowboys. But I know Jerry wants to be front and center like he's doing stuff. But if Will McClay leave, then Jerry be left to his own devices doing stupid things like he was doing back in the early 2000s, like trading 2 first-round draft picks to get Joey Galloway and trading 2 a first and a third to get Roy Williams, sizzle things instead of getting substantial things. Will McClay came in around, I want to say like 2010, 9-10, enabled us to draft guys like DeMarco Murray and draft guys like Travis Frederick, guys like Zach Martin, guys like Tyron Smith, guys like that. And then, on into this, Dak Prescott, and all these guys are guys that Will McClay has did the homework, watching film, doing all this stuff. He's doing all that stuff. Jerry is just front and center, like, yeah, we doing our. Dude, you ain't doing nothing. You lose Will McClay, we're going in the tank. We're going in the crapper. Okay. And really a lot of people wish that Jerry would just give it up with this GM thing. Go and turn this thing over technically to Will McClay and just let him run the thing. because he's doing it already. You go sit down somewhere, just get in your box, But he can't do that. He wants to be out front, like, yeah, it's my thing. I'm doing all this, and then really ain't doing anything. If Will McClay don't give him the intel, he'd be a vegetable. Okay, I'm telling you that. If Will McClay don't, give him all the data and whatnot in them draft rooms, he'd be trading first round draft picks for Kirk Cousins. That's what he'd be doing. Okay, he don't know nothing about that. That's a Will McClay. That Will McClay is the de facto GM of the Cowboys. And I wish they would go ahead and step aside and let Will McClay continue to do what he's doing, or what's going to happen, he's going to go to some other team and start doing that, and then we're going to go in the crapper, okay? Because you got to continue to get your draft. You got to continue to do that. And Will McClay is a guy, and I hope we don't lose that guy right there. I'm hoping and praying we don't lose that guy, all right? So anyhow, if you saw the game Sunday, 49ers come back on the Rams. Rams had a 17-0 lead. Jimmy G threw a pick early, tipped a couple of times. Jalen Ramsey comes up with it. I'm like, 17-3 at halftime. Second half, Jimmy G just came alive, hitting Debo, hitting Juwan Jennings, and brought them all the way back. And they went to overtime. They kicked the field goal, and Matthew Stafford threw a game-sealing interception. And that got the 49ers in the playoffs. And that's our opponent for Saturday. So now we're going to this game Sunday at 3:30 p.m. on CBS, no less. The heck? Cowboys Niners. Many of those games we've had been on CBS and Fox. CBS when we had John Madden and Pat Summerall. Then when they went to Fox, they was on, Fox, But, I still remember that muddy game in Candlestick in 1992 when we took us to our first Super Bowl in the 90s, 30-20. That 69-yard catch by Alvin Harper. Still remember that. Okay? And he won that game. It was 1st and 10, and they thought he was going to run it up top. Alvin Harper should have scored. And we got the third down, and I think Kelvin Martin scored the touchdown. We missed the extra point, and we won 30-20. And then the next year, it was us, and we won it 38-23. And Troy Aikman got knocked out, and it was finished by Bernie Kosar. And that's the game where, Emmett had the shoulder, and Jimmy Johnson said, "I pronounce him well. He's playing." And we won that 38-23 en route to our second Super Bowl. We beat Buffalo again. And then I remember 1994, when that one was on Fox, and the 49ers beat us 38-28. I still contend that was pass interference on Deion Sanders, on Michael Irvin. They call that, we get that, and we score. It's 38-35. I guarantee you we win that. We might have won 4 straight Super Bowls, but you know what, man? It is what it is. We came back the next year and won it, but it wasn't Cowboys and Niners. It was Cowboys and Packers that year. So we got the Cowboys and the 49ers again. And it's just, 2 teams, 5 Super Bowls apiece. We got Super Bowls on. There's players that have played for both teams, like T.O. and Charles Haley and Deion Sanders. They all played for the 49ers first, and then they played for us. But Deion got drafted by the Falcons, then went to the 49ers as a free agent. And then Jerry, seeing Deion, is like, "Hey, come on over here for $35 million." And then T.O. went there, but he went to Philadelphia first, and he ended up going to coming to Dallas. And Charles Haley came on our first Super Bowl run and left there. And really, that was the balance of power. So Charles Haley in the first Super Bowl, in the last Super Bowl in the 90s, he was the balance of power, because we took power from the 49ers and it came to us. And that was one of the things that I think catapulted us to winning those 2 Super Bowls. So anyway, we come into this game. They're 10-7. We're 12-5, but don't none of that matter right now, okay? Don't none of that matter right now, because it's playoffs. It's one and done. And that's what a lot of people are calling for. And I will admit, as a Cowboy fan, 49ers is probably the least team I'd like to see in the playoffs. And I'm going to tell you why. And this is a reunion of Dan Quinn and Kyle Shanahan, because Dan, when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl in 2016, Kyle Shanahan was offensive coordinator, Dan Quinn was the head coach, so they got a relationship. So maybe Dan Quinn knows his offense because he coached under him. Maybe that maybe my man Shanahan knows Dan Quinn's defense. Don't know, but I do know this, that Kyle Shanahan is one of the most creative. Now I know a lot of times it's not manifested in in-game situations, because I think his in-game prep, his in-game situational football is not good. Okay, because they lost that game in the Super Bowl when they was up 28-3. They were up 28-20 late in the fourth quarter, and all they needed to do was just kick a field goal and the game was over. Okay, but they got pass happy, because he gets pass happy. Run the freaking football in those situations. But he got Matt Ryan sacked, then there was a holding call, and they had to punt. And that kept the game in reach. Patriots came down, scored a touchdown, kicked it, and get the 2-point conversion, tied up at 28, got the ball first in overtime, scored a touchdown, ball game. 2018 Super Bowl, had Kansas City beat, had a 10-point lead with about 6 minutes to play. And he decides to throw the ball, okay, which allowed the Chiefs to keep their timeouts, because if it's incomplete or it gets knocked down, clock stops. So one possession, if they just run the ball, they'd have made Kansas City use their timeouts, and they probably ran it down to like 1 minute or so left in the game. But no, they're trying to throw the ball. Okay, and then they tried to throw the deep one to Emmanuel Sanders and overthrown it. Then they kept trying to throw it when you should have been running the ball. Late in the game, you want to run the ball. They've been running it all game. So, but in the balance of the game, they had a more creative play caller than Kyle Shanahan, because of his formation and his use of motion and things of that nature. And we, for the most part, aren't the most dialed in defense, team in general, because I've always contended that the Cowboys are cliff notes on game planning. We just hit the high notes. We just hit the high notes. We just get the things and the tendencies. They're probably going to do this. We don't never read the fine print. It ain't just Uncle Fred just saying this. Thanksgiving Day game, playing the Raiders. Raiders get a play, gets down to the 2-yard line. Then they bring in Marcus Mariota. Now, I'm sitting on my couch, and I know, okay, Marcus Mariota, that means they're going to run some sort of what they call run RPO, or action or something like that. But that way, zone read, that kind of stuff, all that stuff, RPOs and zone, all that stuff's going to be in the play. Something like, if they're just going to run a regular running play or a regular pass, they would have kept Carr in the game. So I'm sure they know that that's coming. Or when a team is running Wildcat, the Patriots ran Wildcat. I ain't never seen them run Wildcat in no other game, but they ran Wildcat when we played them. And the guy went right at Damian Williams Harris went right in the end zone. And I'm like, you didn't think that, but I guarantee you, when we tried it, they got to stop. We got to stop, because Bill Belichick knows, oh yeah, they running Wildcat. I already got a package for that. So when Mariota comes in there, fakes the handoff, walks right in the end zone, untouched. I'm sitting there like, you didn't know that Mariota runs that zone read. You didn't know you need to watch for that. That didn't get communicated. Y'all didn't study that in the weeks prior to the week leading up to the game. Y'all didn't study that. Okay. So that's why I'm saying, with the 49ers coming, and I'll give you some stats. Jimmy G had a pretty good season. He started off kind of slow, had some bad games, started off pretty good, but in the middle had some bad games and losses to the Colts and some other teams, and the Cardinals and stuff. They lost some games they shouldn't have lost. He ended up with 3,810 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Not too bad. About 64% completion percentage. That's not bad. But I'm gonna tell you who we got to stop, and that's that dadgum Deebo Samuels. Now, if Dan Quinn is who he's supposed to be, and if he got himself, out of them Zoom meetings for these other teams, he need to be trying to draw up something to make to neutralize Deebo Samuels. And I'm telling you, they better not be surprised or act like they don't know what's going on when Kyle Shanahan line up Deebo Samuels in the backfield. Deebo Samuels got 59 carries for 365 yards and 8 rushing touchdowns as a wideout. Okay. He's got more touchdowns running it than he do receiving. In receiving, 77 catches, 1,405 yards, and 6 touchdowns. But he got 326 yards rushing it with 5 touchdowns, with 8 touchdowns, 365. I'm sorry, 365 yards rushing with 8 touchdowns. So line him up in the backfield. I don't want our guys don't know what they're doing, because that's what they do. They line him up all over the place. And when that boy get in the open field, you better pack your lunch, because he's running through guys. He's running over guys and through guys. Ask A.J. Terrell. That's the cornerback for the Falcons. I couldn't remember his name a couple of weeks ago. A.J. Terrell. He got hit. Mouthpiece went one way. Helmet went the other way. Deebo off to the end zone. Ran through dude. Had screws and nuts and bolts rolling across the floor, across the field, because Deebo just ran through him. Ran completely through him. And because that's what he does. So Micah, J-Ron, Keanu, yeah, y'all better. Then you got to worry about George Kittle. 49ers are going to be a matchup nightmare, and I'm not scared, but I'm concerned that they got enough weapons that causes problems if we don't prepare properly. And then I'm also concerned but here's the thing. I think if we can get pressure on Jimmy will turn that thing over. Jimmy will misread some stuff. You see, give him some pressure. Oh, yeah. Micah, I need Micah healthy. Okay, he needs to be healthy. Now, on the injury front for the 49ers, Trent Williams, their all-world left tackle. Trent Williams is he might be the best left tackle in football. About 6'8", about 350. But he's got some sort of injury, and it's looking like he may not play. If he don't play, that means we might be able to get some good pressure on them. 49ers are 6th in defense, 7th overall. They are, because I did all my, your boy do his homework. I don't just show up. I does my homework. You know that. The boy does his homework. I just gotta know where I put my homework. Okay. San Francisco. Offensively, they're 7th offensively, averaging like 375 yards a game, but 25 points a game, which is the 25 points per game is, I think that's 13th in the league, 25 points a game. And your Cowboys coming in number 1 in yardage, full 7.1, and 1 in points, 31 points a game. Okay, number 1 all the way around, averaging about 282 yards in the air, and about 124 yards on the ground. So we coming in with that. I gave you Dak stats and Zeke stats. 1,000 yards on 237 carries, 4.2 yards a carry. He's completely healthy. Tony Pollard's healthy. Offensive line gonna be healthy. Let's go. Okay. And I feel like we're gonna move the ball on them. Okay. I feel like we're gonna move the ball on them. I think it's gonna be fairly high scoring. Because I think we're gonna make some gamble. I think we're gonna get a couple of turnovers. I know Jimmy gonna give me a couple. I know Trey Brown gonna get a couple of picks. I think Michael gonna get a couple of sacks. First time in the NFL history we had a 4,000-yard passer, a 1,000-yard rusher, a 13 sack guy, and 11 interception guy on the same team if you need them. Okay, if you just want to, do that thing. Okay, so yes, I'm concerned about the 49ers because they are physical at the line of scrimmage, which I love. I love physicality. I cannot stand finesse football. Hit guys. So when I see guys missing blocks and letting guys come through, and I'm like, that just gets my gears grinding. If you're in there, I want you to hit that guy. I want that guy on the ground when you finish. Hit him. I believe in getting physical. The 49ers are physical. If we don't bring our lunch pail and hard hat, they're going to walk away with a victory. And a lot of people are predicting they're going to beat us. But I choose to think different. Okay, we're 3-point favorites, but of course, 3 points is what you get for being a home team. Okay, so I'm looking for the Cowboys. I'm looking for Dak to make some good throws. I'm looking for him to make good decisions. I'm looking for the offensive line to hold up. And I'm looking for CD, Mari, and Cedric to do their thing. That's what I'm looking for. So you've heard all the Cowboy news, all this stuff, whatever. You heard all the predictions, all of the particulars, the offensive and defensive, and these sorts of things. You got all the distractions, the CV-19 stuff, all that stuff going in there, but we got all our guys back. Okay. And there's head coach stuff. With the. Now I didn't like that Jerry was talking about the kicker, because I know, but now I will admit, Greg has missed 6 extra points and about 6 field goals. Now, 6 field goals, some of them was 50 and 60 yarders. I give you, I'm not going to eat your lunch for that. But dude, you can't miss 6 extra points, But Jerry is on 103.3 The Fan or whatever that station is called, talking about, our kicking has just got to be better. We hate to make some. I'm sitting there like, Jerry, I wish you just stopped talking. I mean, really, y'all know I want to like Jerry, but Jerry make it hard to like him, man, because he makes it harder. He makes it harder for the coaches to coach because he gets in the way. He dumbs down the room when they talking strategy. He want to be included. And then he wants to tell everything at the press conference, tell everything in his news, in his interview sessions. He wants to tell everything. You don't want your kicker thinking about his kicks. You say that stuff in the house. You don't say that stuff out loud. I'm telling you, Jerry talks too much and he's in too much things. I know he runs everything, so you can't tell him that it's his money. He can just take his ball and go home. But I wish the fans would wake up and be like, Jerry, really, we really need you to kind of like take a step back and just kind of let the people who you hire do the job you hired them for. Get out of their way. Just let them do what they do. And hire guys that got personality. Quit hiring these wet noodles. But anyway, I've digressed. Even with Jerry in tow, creating havoc, putting minefields that coaches and stuff got to step around so they can get to their destination. Uncle Fred got a prediction. I think it's going to be a tough, exciting, hard-fought, hard-hitting game. And I think the Cowboys are going to win. Well, I always think the Cowboys are going to win. What am I? Who am I? I'm Uncle Fred. Cowboys are always going to win. Cowboys 28, 49ers 24. Cowboys move on to the divisional round and probably will be facing, I don't know, maybe either probably the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'd love to get another shot at them, or Green Bay, because I'd love to shut Aaron Rodgers up. It's going to be one up there, but we're probably not facing Aaron Rodgers until the championship game. So it'll probably be either them or because I know that the Eagles are playing the Buccaneers. We're playing the 49ers. And then one of them plays one of them, because I think we win, we'll play Tampa Bay. But if the 49ers win, if they beat us, they'll play Green Bay in Green Bay. And if, of course, if Tampa Bay wins, they'll play them. But if the Eagles win, then the Eagles will play Green Bay, and then we'll play Philadelphia. Yeah. I think that's where it goes. I don't know, but we know we're gonna win Sunday. 28-24 Cowboys over the 49ers. Book it. 28-24 Dallas. Let's get this win. Dak need to be 2-2 in the playoffs. Okay. And if we win that one, I like our chances, but we just got to get off the schneid. Okay. And I need our guys to be focused. Okay. This playoff, the ish starts now. That's what Dak said going out the tunnel. And that's what I'm saying. So that's all I got from the desk, Uncle Fred. Giving you all the Cowboy news and as well as news around the NFL. I try to give you a full smorgasbord of NFL news and things of that nature. I'm trying to give you all of that, give you the coaching carousels and all that stuff, man. I try to give you all that stuff. So Uncle Fred is a wealth of knowledge. Yeah, not really. I try though. That's all I got from the desk, Uncle Fred. Go Cowboys. Let's get this playoff win. And let's move on into the second round. I'm Uncle Fred. Please like, comment, and subscribe and notify. Hit the notification button. Become a part of the Uncle Fred experience. Promise you, will not be disappointed. That's all I got. Go Cowboys.